Would you like to work closer to home, save money on gas, and be rewarded for your hard work and attendance? Then Bellisio Foods is looking for you. That's right, Bellisio Foods is now hiring for multiple positions and shifts with great employee benefits, an on-site health clinic, competitive wages, and advancement opportunities. Bellisio Foods is a company that truly values their employees. Apply online at BellisioFoods.com/careers.
This just in.
The Telegram News has a new website.
TheTelegramNews.com.
Same dedicated coverage.
Same trustworthy news with a brand new look.
Covering Jackson and Benton counties and surrounding areas.
Locally owned and operated, TheTelegramNews.com has its finger on the pulse of the community.
Stay up to date on local events, high school sports, and breaking news.
TheTelegramNews.com.
Subscribe today at TheTelegramNews.com.
Check it out.
Well, happy Thursday, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the morning show right here on Main Street TV. Of course, Jennifer here to start off your morning with our good friend, Philip Buffington Jr. in the house, the third Esquire.
Yeah.
I keep adding stuff to his name.
That's fine.
I don't know. What are you, a junior or a senior or what are you?
I don't think. I mean, my grandpa.
I just make all that stuff up, by the way.
My grandpa's name was Philip Buffington. His dad's name was Philip Buffington, but they didn't go by that. They went by their middle names. But my dad's name was Randy, so he broke the trend. He broke the trend.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
Well, then I'll just keep making up names for you then.
Totally fine.
He never knows what I'm going to call him.
Yeah.
But yes, morning news update brought to you by our good friend Nia Henry, agent for Appalachia Realty. And if you're looking to buy or sell or have any real estate needs or questions, give her a call, 418-4135, and she'll work hard for you. All right, so Phil, we didn't get to do a lot of news beginning of the week as we had some guests come in, but there's been quite some stuff happening.
Yeah. I guess the Mike Moore trial wrapped up Monday. That it kicked off the prior Monday. They had jury selection for 2 days. They had almost 2 days of testimony. Not nearly as many witnesses as what a lot of people expected testified.
About how many witnesses did they have?
I think 4 or 5. Yeah, so not a lot. That first day they had 3, including the victim. And then the next day, I think they maybe only had 1 or 2. And jury went into deliberation on Thursday afternoon. Couldn't make a decision Thursday. Came back Friday. Worked all day Friday. They didn't have a decision come Friday at about 4. They were sent home. They came back Monday and went until about 1:30 when the verdicts came back, and not guilty on all counts. We had a story in yesterday's paper about it, just rehashing kind of the stance of both sides. I personally it comes down to a lack of there was no physical evidence whatsoever. So it all hinged on what the victim had to say versus what the defendant had to say.
Sure. It was just kind of word against word, right?
Yeah, and I mean...
Because it happened allegedly happened a long time ago.
Yeah, the time frames were between 2013 and 2016. He was indicted 2021. It's been a long period of time.
Yeah.
But the jury's responsibility and the information they were given, I mean, if there's substantial, if there's doubt, and there definitely probably, I mean, obviously there was. So they did, I think they did the right thing. It's not up to them to judge anyone's character or
Correct.
anything like that. So given what they had,
the evidence that was presented in front of them or lack thereof.
Yeah. It would have been hard to convict someone of such serious crimes with just what they had.
Because you're talking about serious felonies there.
Yeah, I mean, the 3 rape counts were first-degree felonies. That's life imprisonment, possibly. So, yeah, I mean, this is a really polarizing topic, obviously. I've seen some of the horrible comments that people have left on Facebook about it. So
everyone's
entitled to that, I suppose.
You are entitled to your opinion, but I mean, if you weren't sitting in the courtroom, and it's pretty tough to start spewing out your venom when you weren't there. But whatever.
I mean, I saw it all unfold, and I still don't. I mean,
you're still confused.
I don't know as much as I know about as much as I did before. So, yeah.
Gotcha.
So that wrapped up. Something that's been developing since yesterday morning that I don't really have a whole lot on yet, but I will later today, hopefully. There's been a case ongoing in Vinton County court involving Cy Vierstra, who had been, I can't remember what office holder he was in Vinton County.
He was a fiscal officer of a township, I believe.
Okay.
Out there, yeah.
And he had
somewhere
the situation with the exotic animals, and it's a very complex, weird situation. But he had 13 felony charges facing him, and he had, I believe, a plea hearing yesterday morning, and he ended up pleading guilty. I'm not sure to how many counts. I just know that he did enter a guilty plea. I can tell that from the court documents.
Okay.
I've been in contact with the clerk of courts and the prosecutor's office. I'm supposed to put a call back in later this morning to find out the details, so we'll have more on that. But that looks like that has worked itself out. And that, too, I mean, that
happened forever ago.
Yeah, those counts ranged from 2014 to 2020. So there was a big period of time there.
Okay.
So we'll have to figure out more. There was quite a bit of money involved in this, like restitution. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff I still need to figure out. But I do know that he had a hearing yesterday morning, 9:15. And by 10:15, we had a caller let us know that something was going on. So we were able to check in on that. And we'll have more information, hopefully, in this Saturday's paper and online on the telegramnews.com for that. And then another court case coming up. We just had the Larry Jason Farmer trial wrap up, and was found guilty of the firing into a habitation.
The Glen Roy thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the father in that case is supposed to have his trial start Monday.
Okay.
So that'll be another 3-day trial. The same exact charges, the same exact circumstances. So I'm anxious to see how that plays. It's not the first time I've seen that. Have two defendants in separate cases.
The
but
same
the same
incident.
Thing.
Yeah,
it's the same exact thing.
Has he been sentenced yet?
The younger one? No, not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
I'm curious as to what they'll.
Yeah, I don't really know a whole lot about either of these two guys' background, but it didn't seem like they had been in any serious trouble before. Mm-hmm. So, we'll have to just see. And then, usually, I don't think we have any more big cases coming up yet, but we should have quite a few things coming to resolution in Jackson County Common Police Court fairly soon.
Okay.
Some sentencings, and I know we had the Tawny Brewer case where the young child died in the house fire in Glenroy. Mm-hmm. She's due for her sentencing. That was supposed to happen back in August.
I was going to say, that was forever ago as well.
Yeah, they needed some more information. The judge actually in that case had requested all of the discovery so that he could look over it, because it's kind of an odd situation in that Tawny is attempting to regain custody of her child that survived the fire. And she's actually been making, according to what I was told and what I've seen in testimony, making some good progress as far as her substance abuse past. She's clean now and doing what she's got a job. She's doing what she's needed to do. So the judge wanted to look into that further before he issued a sentence. And then we have the Jasmine Music case where the young child died of an overdose. That sentencing's coming up too. A lot of people don't realize that in between when a verdict is given,
it isn't Matlock.
No, it doesn't happen right then.
No, and that does get confusing, because on TV it's just all happens, and that's not really the way it works.
No, and I mean a lot of things that happen on TV too in court cases, like when the shocking revelation happens on the stand and everybody's gasping, and that usually doesn't happen. It did happen in the Moore case when information came out that neither of the attorneys were privy to prior. That's technically not allowed. They tried to get a mistrial because of that. The defense did, but the judge wouldn't grant that. But yeah, there's a lot of misconstrued aspects of the court proceedings.
Yeah,
it takes a while. They have to do a pre-sentencing investigation, yada yada. But I digress.
I don't want to say it's not as exciting as it is on TV. It's just a slower process than it is on TV.
There's a lot less yelling and
theatrics, shall we say. Yeah.
But outside of the court cases, this week is Red Ribbon Week, and that's national recognition. And recently we had some members of Jackson County Spark show up to the commissioner's office. You see the picture there? And Spark, the Jackson County Spark group, that stands for Substance Abuse Prevention and Addiction Resource Council. They were present for Tuesday morning's commissioners meeting to have a proclamation read for Red Ribbon Week. Shannon Dalton, who is the community programming coordinator for the Gallia Jackson Meigs Alcohol, Drug Addiction, and Mental Health Board. She's also a member of Spark. Came by and explained a little bit more about what Red Ribbon Week is. It was established in 1989 in honor of a drug enforcement agency agent named Enrique Camarena, who was brutally tortured and killed by drug traffickers in Mexico in 1985. So it's meant to encourage people to have healthy lifestyles, drug-free lifestyles, to raise awareness in communities and to get them to take action against drug abuse, drug trafficking, and the like.
Okay.
So it's the nation's longest running and largest drug prevention and awareness program. And in conjunction with this year's Red Ribbon Week, there's going to be, and this is a national event also, the Drug Take Back Day, which is this coming Saturday, October 29th. And locally, they will have a site open at the Holzer Clinic on Pattonsville Road from 10 a.m. to 12, and that's when you can bring any unwanted, unused prescription or over-the-counter medications to have them safely dropped. You can bring sharps objects like needles and syringes.
Okay.
And there's no threat of repercussion for doing so.
Bring all that, so Jamie and I did the old, 5-year medicine, cabinet clean out thing the other day, and it was insane.
Yeah.
How much stuff, I mean, even just like Tylenol that's expired and stuff like that. And you're just like, why do I have 3 bottles of the same thing up here? And, so do that, and this is a perfect opportunity to get rid of all that safely.
Yeah, yep. And in addition to that, the sheriff's office always has their drug take-back box in the lobby, and that's available 24/7 right there at the sheriff's office.
Okay.
So this is just meant to draw a little bit more attention and to take part in the national event.
Well, do that. Don't flush it down the toilet because it goes into our water system.
Right, yeah.
And, you don't want that.
No.
There's a whole lot, and you don't want people that shouldn't be having it in their hands have it in their hands.
Yeah,
so, this is the best way to rid of that stuff.
Absolutely. And then at the end of the week on Halloween Day, actually, there's going to be the annual, I think they only didn't do it 1 year because of COVID, but they're having the Red Ribbon Rally, and that will begin at, I think, 6 o'clock Monday evening. And that starts at the Jackson County Courthouse. The group will convene there. They will walk to Manpower Park. And at the park, there will be several service providers there and special guest speakers like Rock and Reggie. And they'll have various offerings of information and resources. I think they're going to have a costume contest since it falls on Halloween this year.
Cool.
They'll have trick-or-treat tables set up for kids. I think they have free hot dogs, chips, and water for everyone. And I believe that lasts through 7:30 Monday evening. So
awesome.
You can check that out. I guess some more law enforcement related news and drug related news. The Jackson County
You're full of it.
I know.
But it's good. It's news.
The Municipal Courts Probation Department recently sent us a release, and they did a couple of compliance checks late last week. I believe it was on Friday the 21st. I think there were a total of 3 arrests, but there was over a half a pound of methamphetamine seized in these searches.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so that's a very substantial amount. The first that they note here was in conjunction with the Jackson Police Department, and they did a check at a West Street residence in Jackson. After receiving information that the probationer living there, Randy Wolford, was possibly in possession of a large amount of methamphetamine and was allegedly offering that up for sale. So the officers took Wolford into custody at the residence, and they located about 53 grams of what they believed to be methamphetamine, along with a few grams of suspected fentanyl and other items that they say were indicative of drug trafficking, as you can see there.
Oh, wow.
So he was taken to the Jackson County Correctional Facility on a probation violation charge. Bless you.
Thanks.
And felony charges are also expected in relation to the narcotics that were seized. Later that same afternoon, the probation officers did another check, this time with the Jackson County Sheriff's Office at a Hammertown Road residence in Jackson. 2 probationers reside there, David Rose and Chelsea Carter. They located both of the individuals there at the residence. I believe Carter had warrants relating to a failure to appear in Jackson County Municipal Court, as did Rose. They searched the residence, and that's where they found close to 200 grams of methamphetamine, along with bags and scales, both indicative of trafficking. So they took both of those individuals into custody as well. And Judge Music, in addressing this, had the highest commendations for his probation department, including Chief Wes Skaggs and that team there. So,
isn't it crazy? Like, I mean, I guess I'm just thinking that you're just driving down the road, like not knowing like what's happening in houses and whatever with people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's kind of wild if you think about it.
200 grams. That's a ton.
Yeah.
And as the judge points out too, the methamphetamine thing, I mean, it's always been around, but it's really gotten more prevalent when opioids fell in supply.
Right. When the pain pill clinics and all that stuff got shut down, and
and
they're people got onto them.
Yeah. And unfortunately, a lot of the meth now has fentanyl in it also.
Yes.
And that's a big factor in the amount of drug overdoses.
Which again is an elephant tranquilizer.
Right.
Does that sound like a good thing to put into your body? I don't think so.
No. So yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
We could do an experiment over the weekend, Phil. See what happens.
This was in the paper yesterday also. I haven't had a chance to talk about this a whole lot yet, but the city of Wellston had initially, within the past year, had conversations with the U.S. Department of Agriculture in an attempt to obtain funding to build a new water plant.
Yes.
So that discussion, according to Mayor Charlie Hudson, there was a verbal agreement at one point that the funding offer was going to be a 50-50 split between grant money and loan money, and that was going to be perfect for the situation. It was going to be, an ideal set of circumstances for them to get this done.
Correct.
However, at one point, apparently this went to another, the federal level, I guess.
Oh.
And USDA came back with a counteroffer of 80% loan, 20% grant. And Wellston, there's no way they could have afforded the payment.
Correct.
So USDA kind of bailed out on them, left them in a bad situation. And they immediately began to look for other options. So the city was able to get a financing option through the Ohio Public Works Commission for a maximum amount of $19 million in loan money, which would come in at 0% interest, which is nowadays is pretty good.
Yeah, it's real good.
And that a request to allow the mayor to do that resolution got a first reading at the October 20th Wellston City Council meeting. Now, the mayor also pointed out that if they're able to get grants, which they assume they'll be able to get some grants, their engineering firm DLZ, Gary Silcott works with DLZ, longtime engineer. He says that they think they'll be able to get around $5 million just right off the top. Mm-hmm. So that would take that price down to about 14, which is close to the $12.5 million loan it would have been through the USDA when that deal was good.
Sure.
So if Wellston were able to get this $19 million total loan, the mayor estimates that the payment will be an annual payment of about $474,000, which sounds like a ton of money. And it is a ton of money. It's the biggest project.
A lot of money.
That's the biggest project Wellston would have ever done, money-wise. But there are lots of factors behind this that he thinks can result in this being pulled off. But overall, since it is one of the biggest projects that Wellston's ever, attempted to undertake, they're going to hold a public forum, and they're inviting and encouraging the public to show up to this, to ask questions, to learn more from the people who actually know, and not just,
That makes sense.
Yeah, right. So, and that'll be an hour before the next regular meeting, which is on Thursday, November 3rd. So at 6 o'clock on Thursday, November 3rd, at the City Building in Wellston on the second floor in Council Chambers, they will have this forum, and that will include the mayor, the service director, Anthony Brenner, Gary Silcott from DLZ, who I mentioned earlier, as well as David Lehue, who is the operator of record for the water works there in Wellston. And part of the reason why the mayor thinks this can be affordable is they have these built-in base rate increases on their water and sewer rates in the city that are good through 2025. Those were not put in place for this. They were put in place back in 2020 after an RCAP study where it was necessary to do this to be able to stay afloat. So that's bringing in right now through 2025 about an extra $100,000 a year, so they can use that money. They have 2 water plants now.
Yeah, it's kind of a mess up there,
Yeah,
Wellston, and I think Charlie's kind of touched on it a little bit if you caught him when he was here, but if not, you don't understand. It's a mess.
No, the dam at the North Water Plant is about 100 years old. If they can get one new water plant, the EPA has been breathing down the city's neck for years about that.
Yes.
About that dam. So if they were able to build this new plant, they can just drain the reservoir, not have to worry about the dam anymore, and the money saved, just in salaries alone, is close to $200,000 a year.
So I mean, you're getting close.
Yeah, you really are.
I
mean, there's a lot of good things going on in Wellston. They've got their ducks in a row. So, but I'm sure a lot of people will have questions about this. And Thursday, November 3rd, 6 o'clock is when you can come and get the answers. So hopefully, people show up and learn a little bit more about what's going on and why.
Yeah, and if you don't show up, then don't have an opinion.
I mean, you've had every opportunity.
Get informed.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
and the thing is, it's been brought up too, if they don't spend this money now, you'll have to spend it in the future. And who's to say if you're ever going to get a 0% interest loan for $19 million ever again? Probably not.
I'm thinking that's not ever going to happen.
And to fix just the dam alone would be $2 or $3 million. And they have the sediment basin at the North Plant, which is by General Mills, or the South Plant rather. The sediment basin's caved in. If you can't provide General Mills water, they'll find it somewhere else.
Correct. And here's the deal too. I mean, the EPA has been on them for a really long time, and the EPA loses patience pretty quick. And if they actually come in and say, hey, no more, you've got to fix this stuff, you could be in the same boat of fixing a junky old plant than you would be to build a whole new efficient, combine both into one kind of situation. So,
and in the meantime, you could be paying $10,000, $25,000 a day in fines to the EPA a day,
because they can.
Yeah,
and so
and anyone who thinks, well, why can't Wellston just buy water through Jackson County Water? They could. But they would have to buy it at a bulk rate. They would still have to fix all their own lines, and they're still losing 50 to 60% of their water through leaks, and they have no idea where. It would be a complete disaster for them financially. They would go into the red immediately.
Right.
So not an option. But yeah, come out Thursday, November 3rd, learn about this, ask questions. And hopefully we can get the community engaged in this and get everyone behind it.
What's the water source in Wellston for Wellston water?
Raccoon Creek, mostly. Okay. So that's a lot of the reason. That's another, yeah. So they suck a lot of that water just straight out of the creek. So that includes dead animals and leaves and everything else. And
crawdads and everything else that's in a creek.
Yeah. So yeah, they're actually they're testing a water filtration system, water treatment system that is in place up around Lake Erie, which I mean, given the algae bloom and the pollution in Lake Erie, it's nothing. I mean, it's nothing compared to Raccoon Creek and Lake Alma. They have to do that for 6 weeks to see if it will work in the city of Wellston, and if it does, that's a money saver too.
Oh,
so this kind of is dependent on that test, which I think is ongoing right now.
Cool.
But we might learn more about that on the 3rd too. This hasn't run yet, but I just wrote it up yesterday. The land bank, the Jackson County Land Reutilization Corporation, or Land Bank, it's easier to say. They were awarded that $500,000 grant through the Ohio Department of Development over the summer to perform these various demolition projects. There's more than 40 that they have on this list in all the various municipalities and unincorporated hamlets and what have you throughout the county.
Throughout the entire county, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
6 of which I think are commercial properties, including the Luvium Wellston. But they did the first round of bid openings for these projects. They had 8 lumped together. I'm not sure what individual projects these were, but they had 6 bids submitted recently
for the demolition of these okay.
Yep. And I think moving forward, there was a discussion that they might bid these out separately moving forward, because there are some smaller companies that would like to get involved who don't necessarily have the capability to bond out.
You don't have a great big all the equipment and all the insurance.
Yeah, and a lot of these properties include asbestos studies that are very costly, and you have to have the proper licensure to be able to even demolish a place like that.
Yep.
But they have done these first rounds of bid openings, and there was some confusion involved. One company, for instance, I'll say the first bid, maybe you'll understand. The first bid was $96,000, okay? The next bid, $749,000. So somebody messed up and we assume that they messed up and put too many zeros or put a comma in the wrong place. But yeah. So ranging anywhere from $44,000 was the lowest to $749,000. But obviously I think that was a clerical mistake.
I hope.
I hope so too. Yeah. But yeah, that $500,000 came from the ODD, and the land bank. I think the plan is to use somewhere around $200,000 of their own money to see all these projects through. So you're somewhere in the $700,000 realm to get all these done. Another one of the old commercial properties was the old bail bonds business across from the sheriff's office, which is one of the ones that had asbestos. They couldn't get to the top floor, I guess, because the structure was so unsound.
Okay.
So they found some on the bottom, had to assume it was on the top as well. So that's pretty costly stuff.
Yeah, it is.
So I assume that most of these bids are in the $80,000-$90,000 region. So I think that maybe these 8 projects maybe didn't have any of the asbestos involved.
Okay.
But those are going to be moving forward. Just in the city of Wellston, they have the King's Pool Hall, which is there next to the Jenkins Funeral Chapel on 2nd Street. That's one of the old commercial properties to come down.
Okay.
The former Louis Theater on Ohio Avenue set to come down. Mm-hmm. The old Coop's Bar, Riepenhoff's Bar on the south end of town set to come down. So a lot of those old commercial properties are right there in the city of Wellston. And there's been a lot of talks about, maybe some neighboring businesses, once these are taken down, would want to assume. And there's also been talks of having, the amphitheater in Wellston built in some of these areas where some demolition might be going down. So it's exciting to see a lot of this stuff get cleaned up. It's astounding the amount of properties in the 2-county area that are dilapidated slum and blight properties that need taken down.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild. This list of 40-some it didn't take them very long to compile. So there's plenty more.
Oh.
It's just they have to keep it within the confines of what funding is available to them.
Right. There's only, it's like eating the elephant one bite at a time.
Yeah.
You have to just pick certain ones and go for it.
Yeah, definitely.
So, but yeah, there are a ton of properties, and it's really unfortunate, because some of the properties, like the Louis and, some of the others that probably, if it were 10 years ago, could have been saved. I don't know. I'm not privy to all the information, but you just wish, I don't know. I'm like a big sucker for old buildings and, making them have life again.
Right. I mean, everybody saw what happened with the Marquee, but that was just the perfect storm of dedication and money falling into place, and it took 20 years.
Yes.
And you had Barb Summers at that.
Yes.
I mean, that doesn't happen.
And Barb
very
Summers,
often.
whipping people into shape.
Yeah.
You're exactly right.
Yeah, so people saw that, and I think maybe had wished that for the I would have wished that for the Louis.
Sure.
I mean, I went there as a kid. I loved it, but unfortunately, it's in disrepair, and it's going to have to go. But the only other thing I have for you guys is we just got this yesterday in an email from Katie Sizemore down at Buckeye Community Services. They are going to hold a groundbreaking on Wednesday, November the 2nd at noon at 265 Pearl Street in Jackson. And Randy Evans Construction will be there. Their various community partners will be there for the groundbreaking. Randy Evans Construction partnering with BCS in this build. And I believe this is for the new residential.
Yeah.
For the new group home.
Yeah.
I know there was some back and forth about that with council for the zoning, but that's all been taken care of, and that'll be taking place Wednesday, November 2nd, and get that project started. So that's good news.
It is, and I mean, I don't know. I'm sure it would be sad for the folks to leave where they're living and whatever, but it's also understandable that they might need a little bit easier access to, where they're living and amenities within the building and that kind of thing. So.
And there was a lot of negativity around this, when the discussion first got brought up about the zoning issues, but people worried about, the types of people that would be living in their neighborhood, and the folks at BCS really took a stand on that and defended their clientele and pointed out that these are just regular people who just need a little bit of help. They're not going to bother anybody.
I mean,
and
good Lord, they've been living there forever. It's not
right. They've been there since the 70s, I think. And I mean, these people deserve a nice place to live just as much as anybody else. So I'm glad to see that this is up off the ground, and that'll be a good thing to have a celebration over next week.
Sure, absolutely. Love that.
Yep. And I think we'll have some election-related news coming up soon, too, since the election's coming up. Maybe get some J.D. Vance and Tax and Tim Ryan.
You just wait till Monday. James and I are just going to beat the crap out of each other here on the show.
I'm looking forward to that.
Since he has a beard, he's got to be J.D. Vance.
No.
He says no.
Well, I can't grow a beard between now and then. I could try. I mean,
Got black, oil paint.
Oh, he's going to paint me on a beard, he says. Is it BYOG, bring your own boxing gloves? Bring your own gloves?
So I've also got this stuff called crepe hair that's like fake beard hair for like the theater and stuff. It's like it's made out of like wool, and we can glue that to your face and give you a real good beard.
Sounds perfectly horrible.
Yeah. We can really go all out with this, Jen.
You just wait till Monday. It's coming.
Just as soon as we're going to get rid of these J.D. Vance and Tim Ryan commercials, it's going to be time for the damn presidential election
I
cycle
know.
to start.
Then it's really going to be on. Can you even imagine? I
and
swear.
Who knows who's going to run for president next time? I mean,
oh, man.
I'm scared.
I just don't know. I don't know that I've ever seen a race get as nasty as this.
I know.
This one.
I know.
It's
been going on for so long. So long.
Oh, God.
And who knew J.D. Vance had 9 names? And like, I'm learning so much about this.
I know. And Tim Ryan and his wife only agree 7 out of 10 times.
Yeah.
But he agrees with the president 10 out of 10 times.
And loves Nancy Pelosi.
And he loves Nancy Pelosi. So,
Yikes.
yeah. I mean, it's just.
They must. I mean.
They're like girls in a fight in high school.
Ask yourself, how do they have this much money to afford all these ads? As a politician.
Fair question.
You're not supposed to be rich because you're a politician. So maybe just assume these guys are both rich already.
It
What's
does
the problem?
always make you scratch your head and you wonder how they all end up rich at the end of the day, don't you?
Mm-hmm. I mean, at least somebody like Ross Perot, he bought up like primetime TV, like half hour's worth. That was like $1 million in '92. But he was an oil tycoon. That's why he had money. That's at least explainable.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, it is. So Dad used to dub it political silly season, and I mean it's off the chain this year. I mean, we are like on roids.
Yeah. Well, When Trump first got in the picture, I think that maybe opened the floodgates for the let's just see how wild this can get kind of thing.
I think you're exactly right, and it's just continuing. Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh. Anyway, politicians at their finest.
Yeah. That's all I got. I got a bunch of random good, bad, ugly news.
Random good, bad, ugly news. Okay. Well, we appreciate you spending your morning with us.
No problem.
How are the babies cooking along?
Pretty good.
This one's having twins, if y'all didn't know.
Yeah. We're almost to the 7-month mark. So
how much have you gotten cussed out lately?
Not a lot.
Okay,
I mean,
good.
Not a whole lot.
That's a plus.
I think I'm keeping my composure pretty good. I don't sleep a whole lot, but she doesn't either. So
I'll bet that has to be an uncomfortable situation.
well, she said they're always flipping and flopping around when it's time to go to sleep. So
they're like cats.
Yeah,
they're nocturnal.
Seems to be. But yeah, everything's going pretty smooth so far.
So, do you have twins in your family? Is that a
not that I know of? I can't think of any instance on either side.
Sometimes it just happens.
Maybe in the extensive family. I mean, I can remember maybe some like great uncles that were twins, maybe, but
yeah,
I don't even know that I ever met them. So this was a total shock.
Surprise!
Yeah.
So how does that work? You go to the doctor and you're like, okay, we're gonna go have an ultrasound, and then
that's exactly what it was. I mean, we found out. We went to that first appointment. They started the ultrasound, and it was 5 seconds. She goes, "Oh, there's 2 in here," and we're like, good one. And then she's like, "No, I'm serious. There's 2 in here." And I was like, "Oh, she's going to find like 4, 5, 6, 7."
You're like, please stop at 2, please.
Yeah, 2. Yeah. So that's what we always say. I mean, 2 was unexpected, but at least it wasn't 3.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing against kids, but we just got a house and it's not that big, so I don't think there's any room to build on either. So
we just couldn't plan for that.
No, we had no idea this was coming. So I mean, we're thankful, but we're scared to death. 2 grown people scared to death. So
well, the problem is, now that you'll be outnumbered.
Oh yeah.
By children.
And Parker's old enough to where he can step up and wipe butts.
You're still outnumbered.
Yeah. Still out. Oh yeah.
3 kids, 2 parents. You're outnumbered.
Yeah. Scary. It's a scary thought. And these 2 are going to obviously be the same age, so they're going to be real conspiring. At least Parker might come and let me know if something's up, but
yeah,
I don't know. There's a 7-year gap there.
Yeah.
So
he'll be kind of dad-like, I think.
I hope so. He's a super good kid, and I think he'll be real helpful. He loves helping.
Well, we said he should be the next host of this show. I mean, he's like so good.
He's the most well-spoken 6-year-old kid I've ever met in my life.
Yeah,
he really is. And he's so well behaved. He's super smart. Like, I can't say enough about the kid. He's an awesome kid.
Is he excited to have?
Yeah, he's
babies.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, he wanted a sibling, but he never could decide if he wanted a boy or a girl. So then he got both, and he squalled when we told him. I mean, he was thrilled to death.
All at the same time.
Yeah. So he's super pumped. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, cool. Do you have names picked out and all that? You don't have to divulge them.
I think we're pretty well set on the first names.
Okay.
The whole middle name thing. We went back and forth between whether we were going to even do middle names, and so I think we got the first name figured out, at least.
Philip.
Yeah. Well, Red wants us to name Marty and Loretta. But I don't think she'll go for that. So
I think you should name them JD and Tim. And they'll fight all the time. It'll be fantastic.
Well, you were saying, talk about JD Vance having a bunch of different names. I didn't know this. So JD stands for James David and Vance, but his actual birth name is James Donald Bowman. So why did he change his name?
Right, and he did it more than once.
Why is that?
Several times. Like once he went into college, I think he changed it again. So yeah.
Wikipedia only gives him one. Like, it's not a pen name. He legally changed his name.
But,
Yeah.
you know, I'm sure Danielle Steele's name isn't Danielle
Right.
Steele. I mean, maybe it is, but I doubt it.
Yeah,
you know?
most authors have pen names, but apparently he legally changed it.
Yeah.
That's weird. But what?
I had
Like
never
he
heard
kept
any of
he
that.
kept James, but changed everything else.
Yeah.
Donald
I mean, I
David.
understand keeping James because obviously it's a great name.
It's a
Solid
cool
name.
name, yeah.
But it is a solid name. But I don't know.
Well, I see Mr. Red is here. So
Phil's like, get
I'll
me
forfeit
out of
my
this
seat."
situation.
Bye.
Thank you, Philip. We appreciate it. All right. Hey, Dylan, do you have the weather pulled up over there? Yep. We have not done that this week. Hi, Red. Have a seat. Our good friend Red Thompson Jr. in the house. But let's go over the weather forecast for today. Today is Thursday, October 27th. Can you believe it? It's already the end of October. Partly cloudy skies today. Looks like a little bit of sunshine there with highs of 59, lows of 38. Tomorrow on Friday, Saturday are going to be our, great days of the weekend. Friday, highs of 65, lows of 37. And Saturday should be really, really pretty with some sunshine and highs of 68, lows down to 44. And then it looks like, mid to high 60s the rest of, or through the beginning of your work week next week. So, I mean, if you're talking about fall weather, we've had some beautiful, beautiful fall weather. It's been absolutely gorgeous. So we cannot complain about that. All right. Thank you, Dylan. And our good friend Red Thompson in the house. So, Red, how you doing today?
Well, good morning. We got a lot to go over this morning, and it's October. That means championship month in sports, Jen.
It does. You're right.
And it all starts tonight. Tonight with the ladies. Jackson Soccer is going to be at Piketon for a district final against Marietta. 7:30 tonight. Jackson's 10-2-2, and they won an exciting game on Tuesday against Athens.
Yep, that was a good one.
And there they are celebrating. And Abby Smith hit a goal with 28 seconds left in overtime.
Yeah.
There she is, the big hero, and she'll be needed tonight to get that win over Marietta, but it's going to be tough. They're a very good program. So if you can get over there tonight, go over and support the Ironladies.
Is it at home then?
No, it's over at Piketon.
Over in Piketon. Okay, gotcha.
They have an AstroTurf field, so they'll be accustomed to what they'll be playing on here.
Sure.
So
Pretty fast.
tomorrow night, everybody's ready. Jackson Ironman football. All right, the home playoff game. Do we have a video of the Jackson soccer players being interviewed?
Girls.
Yeah, do we?
Yes. Yeah, we got it.
Okay, can we go ahead and play that before we get into football? Sure. Okay.
We've been working, and our mentality, we just kept saying, play with heart, it's going to come down to who wants it more. We knew they were a good team, and it was just going to be about who's going to work the hardest and who's going to leave it all on the field.
We've wanted this since we were freshmen, and we finally got the opportunity, so we weren't going to let it slip through our fingers. We've been working for this since February, so there's no way we're going to go down without a fight.
It's super easy in a game like that to get down on each other and start getting frustrated and yelling. And we just have to remember that we're a team, we're a unit, we play together like a team. And when we do that, everything flows really well.
Yeah, we have to stay together, and we have to be patient. Whenever we have the opportunity to go, we have to go and go all out.
And that could not have been a better pass from Cindy Carpenter. And then it was right at my feet. And I put a chip over because I knew she was going to die. Jackson women's soccer has never won a district championship, so if we win this, we'll set a school record. So I'm a senior, I'm going to go out eventually. I want to go out with a bang.
I mean, it'd be no sweeter victory than to win against Marietta, since they've put us out of it for a couple years now, and we just want it so bad.
All right. So,
Some excited girls.
yeah, if you can get over there tonight, go over, take a short drive to Piketon and support the Ironladies tonight.
Awesome.
Tomorrow night, as I was speaking earlier, it's football night in Jackson. Playoff football night. And Jackson's going to be hosting Mamie Trace in the Division 3, Region 11 playoffs at Alumni Stadium.
Okay.
And Andy Hall will have his 8-2 Ironman ready to go. That game will be broadcast on WKOV with Pete, Dan, and Dan.
The Padids. The Padids.
The Padids. And that game, if you're out of the area, you want to listen to it, it's on the Total Media app, 96.7. And Jackson got there by defeating Chillicothe 21-7 last week on the road.
Big win on the road to Chillicothe. Yes. Been quite a rivalry back and forth between Jackson and Chillicothe. So
yeah, we remember a couple of years ago, Chillicothe won on a 42-yard field goal. I think it would have been good from 72 yards. Mm-hmm. One of the Chillicothe broadcasters, that was his grandson that kicked that. And that's what he said. I think that would have been good from 72 yards. They wanted that. So, but this time, Jackson got them and got the revenge, and they're ready for the playoffs.
Cool.
And also, Benton County is in the playoffs.
Okay.
And Todd Compton, the sports editor, and myself will be going to Columbus East Friday night. Big city venue.
Woohoo!
So apparently it's at Hartley Field, right in the middle of downtown. Mm-hmm. So we'll be doing that, and what they got there by defeating Wellston 42-0, and we have a video speaking to the Vikings after the game. Okay, we're here with the Vikings, and they won a big game. Senior night game here at Wellston, and they've earned a playoff berth. And we'll start with you, Mr. Garrett Brown. 298 yards. What a night.
Thank you. I just have to give it up to the line. These guys down here working hard every game, every practice. That's just all I can say. Just the line. They're unreal. It's unreal.
And okay, we'll go to Dawson Brown. They featured you some on offense, and you was working the defense hard, but you had the defensive, one of the defensive favorites, a pick six tonight. Can you set that play up for me?
I quarterbacked a perfect ball to the defense. It's in position. That's just kind of handed to me. I took my opportunity.
And you, Reagan, you caused a lot of you was in the Wellston backfield all night, and you got good pursuit. And caused some Wellston to some turnovers and some havoc. Can you describe how you was able to get some pressure tonight?
I was just able to do that by playing hard, playing fast, just being physical. That's all about Benton County coaches. That's all what you guys do.
Okay, you guys have achieved another goal. You're headed toward the playoffs. Each one of you take a second to tell me about that.
It's exciting. 2 years in a row, get to play for a playoff game. We're going to go win this one. We're going to try.
All right.
Good. It's going to be awesome. I've played in 3 playoff games so far, but I'm so excited for this one. It's going to be amazing.
Okay.
It's going to be a great game. Whoever we play, we're going to give them our best effort. We're going to hit them hard, just like this game. We're going to try to win.
Okay, congratulations, guys. Great job tonight. And good luck to the Vikings.
That's right.
That game will be heard on WYRO 98.7.
And where will that game be, Red?
Columbus.
Oh, that's right, in Columbus.
Yeah,
okay.
Columbus East, Hartley Field. And Bob and Jeff will be there, as always, and that'll be on the app as well, 98.7. And support the Vikings, third playoff appearance in a row for them. So they'll get a little roll going. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And Jim, with all the new technology today, we have a growing problem that the Benton County Commissioners are looking at.
Okay.
Due to the good-natured work of the drug court, they have been helping the county, I guess, or felt like they was helping the county by using their cell phones for work. And it's getting to the commissioner's attention that maybe that practice should end. The county should own the cell phones.
Probably smart, like work phones.
Yeah. Amy Isaac, the drug court coordinator, came to the commissioners and discussed this. And she feels like if one of those phones gets subpoenaed, they won't have a cell phone. So the commissioners are looking at making the cell phones county owned.
Plus, I think just in general, if they need to make a call, then someone has their personal number, and there's just not a lot of privacy there. So, yeah, I could see a lot of issues with that.
And, they could be hacked.
Sure.
What if they try to arrest someone and they'll know what the county has because they've hacked a cell phone. And so they're going to address that. They're looking at some plans from Cricket and Verizon.
Okay.
So that should be coming up. And we also have another issue that the school board tackled in Benton County, vaping. The school board's going to look at the school vaping policies in a work study session.
Is there a vaping policy? Why is there a vaping policy? Just don't do it. That should be the policy.
Well, that is the policy, but they're going to strengthen it.
Okay.
Making it. So we're going to have that. We also have there is also the Hotel MacArthur renovation is continuing. And I tell you, they've come a long way on it.
Good.
We have some pictures that we ran recently, and I tell you, they've come a long way. That place was challenging.
I would say so, to say the least, yes.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say that I told this story for a different reason on the show the other day, but Jamie and I were in Cincinnati a few weekends ago, and we went to this little diner, and our server was like, "Where are y'all from?" And we said, "Oh, Southern Ohio, you don't know." And she said, "Well, try me." And she said, we said Jackson. She said, "Oh, I come to Hocking Hills all the time." She said, "So I know where Jackson is," and we got to talking about it. But she said she was very excited to see the progress of the hotel. So that was like on her radar. And she's from Cincinnati and just loves to come to the Hocking Hills area. But she's very excited for it to get, done and open and whatever. So I think that, someone from Cincinnati is paying attention, then how many other people are excited and paying attention?
Well, I'm in a number of Facebook groups, and definitely old hotels is one of them. And people they love going. There's a lot of historians out there.
Well, it's because they all have lives and history. They have stories and things happened there, and there's a lot of fun, stories to tell.
And I was reading on Facebook, someone made a comment that small town America is becoming just copycat. All franchises going to one town looks like another. McDonald's, Wendy's. There's no unique small town places anymore, and that's like your place, the nice local place, and people enjoys going. Do you get that people enjoys the localness of your place?
Oh, absolutely. I think there's a big push for revitalizations of downtowns. Number one, repurposing buildings. Even people living, in downtown where they can walk. And, I think there's a big push for that. And then mom and pop, of course, businesses as well.
And, there's I hope that Wellston can get the amphitheater. I think that would be a great urban renewal project for them.
Definitely cool.
But on the other end of that, I think we're about getting to the sad time. I think Wellston's historic Louis Theater is about to be torn down.
Yeah, we were just talking about that before you walked in with Phil and some of the other, properties that are going set for demolition, and it is very sad.
The Benton County Commissioners also discussed demolition, and there, the biggest project that they have is the old Hamden Junction restaurant. It was a popular place for a long time, but it's become overgrown, and it's certainly a hot spot for redevelopment. It's right by the school.
Yeah.
And so it's on Hamden Sewer. So it'll be a big lot, and I'm sure that someone's going to buy that lot if it comes up for sale. Then they got several houses there. And but certainly in Jackson County, they're also going to tear down the old bail bonds building. And I don't know any of the other commercial. Oh, and the old the bar in Wellston.
Coop's bar.
Yeah. And so a lot of houses. So.
Yep.
And it's a shame that all this needs done, but at least it's getting done.
Yeah. If it has to be done, and at least it's getting done. You'd like to try to save what you can, but sometimes they're just too far gone.
One positive on restoration, the Wellston Railroad Depot post being redone. It really looks nice.
That is such a good asset to the community there.
And maybe they may even hold some concerts there and things like that in the future. So, a lot of positives out there.
Yep.
We're about ready for Halloween. You've been out and seen all the decorations?
So, yeah, I saw on 776 yesterday. I was coming back from Waverly and came back 776, and there's that house, like right as you turn off David Avenue onto 776 on the left, and they have like the big pickup truck out there, and they put all the flowers and stuff in it. But right now, and it's gorgeous, but right now they have their entire yard, and it's a huge yard, is full of inflatables, Halloween inflatables. And I almost stopped to take a picture, but I was like afraid I didn't get in a wreck or something, so I didn't. But it is so cool. So yeah, there's a lot of fun decorations around town.
We love Hog Wild, and maybe we ought to have a contest for the best decorated property in Jackson.
I think that's a fair contest.
Who can outdo who, and
love it.
And they can win. Maybe merchants could throw in some prizes, and we could have a nice little contest because people love that kind of thing. You see how big the Hog Wild is.
Yeah.
Who got first in place in that? Raised the most money? Raised the least money?
Well, there was definitely a least money.
The zero.
Yeah, the zero one.
Yeah.
What was the most money? It was like way over $1,000, James. Yeah, shoot. We do have the list. We could go down that. That would be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the trick part of the Hog Wild. The zero. That's the trick part.
It was something, all right. Anyway.
But, we won't go there.
Yeah.
But it is fun because people do enjoy that. They enjoy painting and
being creative, for sure.
Giving it a name.
Yep.
And what did you turn in one for your business?
We did.
What was his name?
What was her name? I even named it too. It was, I forget.
Yeah, we did.
I'll think of it here in a minute. You put me on the spot, Red.
Yeah, we did one
But my pig did have money in it.
Yay. Yeah, we did one a long time ago for the Louis when I worked there.
Did you?
Yeah, I can only remember what we named it.
Oh, Sensorita was her name.
Oh.
Because she had like all the senses like painted on her, and then like a little take on.
Oh, that's awesome.
Senorita, so Sensorita.
And remember, just went to our new website. Remember that?
Yep.
We have picture galleries and on the sports, and we also have just a lot of new features on there. So come on and look that up. And we also, the radio app, don't forget that. We're innovative here at Total Media. Got a lot going on right now. Don't forget this TV show. Every morning we have local information on the Facebook and the radio. And so Total Media's got you covered, Jen.
That's exactly right. Total Media, right?
Shit pudding. Yeah.
Very, very cool. All right. Well, Red, thank you for stopping by this morning. It's always good chatting with you, and you always are full of it and let us know all the stuff going on, especially in the Benton County area.
We try to stay busy. Once again, go Ironmen, go Vikings, go Ironladies, and let's bring home some titles.
That's exactly right. Some talented kids in our community, and send them all the best wishes today and tomorrow if you can. If you can get out to the game personally, that's even better. But if not, send them all the good vibes.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We got to go out and support the local kids because that's what it's all about. They're the future. And
they are our future.
And we want to give them the best start and foundation we can.
You're exactly right. All right. Well, cool, Red. Have a great day. And thank you all for tuning in. We greatly appreciate it. And we will be back here tomorrow on Friday with maybe some football wrap-ups and recaps and things like that. So until then, have a great day, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow. Bye, everybody.